Welcome to this event for social media, NSA Social Media Partners. I'm Gina Carr. I'm the founder of the group, and I'm so glad that you could join us today. We're going to get right into it because we have an exciting topic, which is how you can get paid to write without getting some contract, getting somebody to hire you. You just write interesting stuff, and you're going to be able to get it posted and make money on a cool platform called Steemit. I hope that my introduction was already coming out. I'm getting strange feedback from my Blue Jeans app. Mr. Brock, Terry Brock is my co-host today and the leader of our session. Terry, can you tell if we are broadcasting okay into the Facebook group at this time?
It appears that all systems are functioning within normal parameters, Captain. And I think, how's that for a good techie answer? Yeah, I think it's going fine, but it's always fun when you got the technology. Sometimes it works, sometimes it's a little bit tough. But I think we're reporting for duty and all systems operating well today.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Well, that wasn't a really formal introduction, but somebody like Terry Brock within the NSA world needs very little introduction. In fact, he's been called officially on various programs as a legend in NSA. He's CSP, CPAE. He is the guy you go to when you have any issues, any questions about technology, relationship marketing. He's been there, done that. And he's going to introduce our special guest today and tell us more about this exciting new platform. So you guys, please enter your questions down below. We're going to be reading as we go, and we will stop from time to time to answer those questions. We're going to try to make this a pretty quick presentation today, about 30 minutes, but we will stay around a little bit if you have some additional questions, and we're just so glad you could join us.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you very much, Gina. And it is great to be with you here at the Social Media Partners. We've got some exciting things today, and the person joining us is an expert on how to write. She is a writer. She also knows the technology, and specifically the technology we're going to be talking about. Her name is Starr O'Hara, and she's joining us right now. Starr, good to have you with us today.
Thanks, Terry. I'm glad to be here.
And I know that you have been a writer. You're doing this now full time and working, and you're using a technology that is pretty amazing out there called Steemit. And it's one that we want to go into here because I know the people watching this both live and on recording are content creators. People that write and speak for a living, do coaching, do facilitation, many different topics and many different types of communication work. And so you're going to be talking about that. Tell us a little bit more about your background in writing and what you have done and your experience, just kind of from a big picture point of view with Steemit and what that is.
Okay. Well, I've been a writer for a very long time. My main kind of writing interests are humor and science fiction and fantasy. I have also written a lot of like creative nonfiction articles and self-improvement articles, but my true passion lies in science fiction, fantasy, and humorous science fiction, which is those are all things that I post on Steemit. I joined Steemit last year in August. I think they launched in May or June of 2016.
Yes.
And so I was pretty early. I think my number, my member number or whatever, my user number is like 53,000-ish. So I was pretty early getting on Steemit. And I started writing almost every day when I first joined, and it took me a while to build up to the point where I had enough followers to actually be bringing in money on the platform.
Let me pause you right there for a moment because I like what you just said. I think that's very important that we understand it takes a little while as you do it. You don't jump into Steemit and immediately make $1 billion. It takes a little while. Right. You and I both joined in August of last year. I did a little bit of it as well and now doing more. And I see, okay, it's gradually building. And so would you agree with that it takes a little while and it takes that continual nurturing of relationships to do well on it?
Absolutely. And what you just said, the nurturing of relationships is key because I didn't really catch that until later in my Steemit career, where I discovered that it's really all about community and building relationships on the platform and what you can do for other folks on Steemit and how you can engage with them. So it really is about relationships.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm seeing that more and more. Oh, and by the way, something I want to mention right up front for those of you that are looking at this and thinking, well, where do I go? How do I get there? It's Steemit, and it's spelled this way, a little different than you might think. It's Steemit.com, Steemit.com. There's two E's in there. And we want to show you some of the features that are there. But, as a matter of fact, Starr, I might be able to impose on you a little bit to share your screen with us and see some of that in just a little bit. But tell us some of the things. I hear that Steemit, and of course I know, but I'm setting this up as a question as if I didn't. I hear that you can make money with that by writing content, unlike places like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and others. You do the writing and they make the money. On Steemit, you can actually make money. Is that correct, Starr O'Hara?
That is correct. And not only you make money by creating content, but you can also make money by curating other people's content. So on Steemit, when you upvote, like if on Facebook you like a post and that's the end of it, you know, you might leave a comment and that's the end of it. But on Steemit, if you upvote a post, you're going to get a small portion of whatever the post generates in terms of the money. A very small portion. But there are people on Steemit who curate and don't ever create any content, and they're doing very well with it and bringing in good money.
Wonderful.
And also, when you leave a comment on somebody else's post, it might get upvoted, and you might get paid for that as well.
Which is pretty nice to get paid for comments. That certainly doesn't happen on Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg and the shareholders get a chance to make money on that from the work that you do. However, on Steemit, you get a chance to be paid when you make a comment or when you write content that people like. I've noticed something on Steemit also. Correct me if I'm wrong or what. I'd be interested in your perspective on this. People that are real good in Steemit have a sense of what is good and what is not. If someone puts out a post that is just not that good, they don't get a lot of votes. They don't get those up votes, which actually give you the money. But if someone puts out content that is really good, and we can show some examples of that, I'm seeing people making, $500, $1,000, $2,000 a day writing content. They've got very good content that a lot of people like, and it's done in high quality videos, high quality pictures, and their text is very good. So these are important considerations for those that are watching this. It is a way to make money, but you don't just jump in and say, here's my content, it's wonderful, and become rich. You've got to work at it, learn the systems, and learn the protocols. Starr, would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And there are also, it takes a while to get there. Even if you put out your best content, right from the get-go, and it has great pictures and it has great text, and it is something that people are going to be interested in, it's going to take a while, and that, building of relationships before you get a lot of attention to your content. So, like, again, we want to reiterate that it's not a get rich quick thing. You do have to put in the work of putting your content out there and building those relationships.
Yeah, exactly. Well, here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to show some of the actual screen of what's going on, what we can do as we share the screen. And I was thinking I could start here, and then I want to spend most of the time with you showing us what you're doing and explaining that. But for those that are watching, I'm going to share my screen here real quick as I go into this right here. There we are. And I'm bouncing over here so that now you should see Terry Brock here on Steemit. Starr and Gina, can you both see that?
Yep.
Okay, very good. You'll see I've got mine here. It's got me as being a member here. I've got a certain number of followers, etc. And here's content. Matter of fact, some content that I produced just today. You'll notice 1 hour ago by Terry Brock, and I've already made $4.40, which is okay, not too bad. Here's one I did yesterday. I've made $48.67 on that. Here's one I did the other day. This is $54.77. Nothing you're going to say, wow, you're getting rich on that, but it is something. Here's one a few days ago, was 3 days ago, $30.16 and others. And then I put in a lot of different content, try to put something out there. Here's one I put that got a lot of attention, Steemit content creators, and I made $138.33 so far on that one. It's 17 days ago. So this is how it works. Here's one, $154.06. It was a meetup that I covered a few days ago when I was over in Greece. And being in Greece, I got a chance to see it, and I covered this right here with the first Steemit gathering in Athens, Greece. I was there for that and have established some relationships that way. So this is what you can do. It's one of the ways that you start putting it together. For instance, if I click on this right here, let me click on this one I put together just today. Notice what I've done. And by the way, here's something you might notice that really gets a lot of attention and grabs ideas and eyeballs. You'll notice there's a moving GIF here. This GIF file here gives the ability to show just a few seconds of something that grabs attention, lets people know what's going on. I put some text in here, and then I put in a video that I have done over on YouTube, brought this in. It's a popular video that I've used before. Now I'm getting a chance to repurpose it. And then I ask people down here, Steemit friends, please upvote or re-steam. And Starr will have you tell us about re-steaming and stuff to spread the word. Thank you a lot, etc. And then I see the comments are starting to come in here already. And again, this one was just a short time ago, about an hour ago, $4.45 already coming in on that one. So there's some real possibilities here with it, and we have some good features. So Starr, any comments on that before we look at your screen and you share your screen on that?
Nope.
Okay, well
I'll
then
go ahead and
we're hearing the drum
share
roll in the
my
background, brrr, like this, as we go into sharing your screen. Starr, and I think you, and by the way, everyone, Starr is just incredible. She is just seeing blue jeans. Yesterday we did a quick test, and she's picking it up real fast. This lady is a whiz, not only at writing, but also in technology. And now I'm seeing it on the screen. So Starr, take it away and tell us about what you've got here on your screen.
Okay. Well, I don't have a $50 post every day like Terry does, but let's see, once a week I do a post where my daughter posts her art. So this is great if you have kids at home that are making cool stuff. They can make their own Steemit account. That's what my daughter plans to do. But right now she's just sharing my account, and she gets to keep the money that the posts earned. Sometimes these are just really short little things. I saw something interesting in the news and I posted about that. I got $1.65 from it. It only took me 5 minutes. This is a picture I snapped on laundromat, made $1 from it. It took me less than a minute. Here's one of my self-improvement kind of articles or personal essay style about how I became a full-time writer. I just decided about a month ago that I was a full-time writer. And so now I am. I'm fully engaging in my time in writing. So
good for you.
So that post has made $9.11 so far. We got 41 upvotes and 17 comments. This one below here is one of my kind of science fiction type of posts, which sometimes do really well and sometimes they kind of fly over. And I think what it might be is I'm playing with titles. I think sometimes my titles don't grab people's attention, so that's something you should kind of experiment with and play around with.
Starr,
Here's some things that I here's some things that I go ahead, Gina.
Let me interrupt just a second. You guys, if you're watching this, if you are watching it inside the group news feed, it might be kind of small. So if you click on the video, it's going to open and it'll be bigger. And of course, you can do the Control Plus or whatever it is on your computer that makes a page bigger. So I know it's, it might be kind of small. So that's what I wanted to interject there. Back to Starr.
Lastly, I just wanted to point out, if you guys are joining Steemit, I highly recommend that you read this article of mine that I wrote, The Worst Mistake I Ever Made on Steemit. I'm just going to open it up. This is the best advice I can give to new Steemians. And it's full of funny Steemit memes that I made myself. So go ahead and check that out. It's basically, I've been on a platform for a year almost, and this is about the time that I decided that I would just take a short break, and then I forgot to come back to Steemit. So read that, and it will help you.
Yeah, matter of fact, if I can interject here, Starr, I think you did a very good job on that. And as I went through, you gave me the ideas to start creating one of the posts that I did. I saw what you did, I liked it, and then what I did was able to take that information and build on top of it to show how to create content. You mentioned reading books, and it hit me, hey, with Kindle, you can do this, and so I started storing that.
Mm-hmm. That was actually a different article, but yes, that was let's see, that was down here. uh, how to have an endless stream of ideas. That was that one.
Yes, that was it. I
Which
remember
is
now. Thank you.
also I highly recommend everybody should read.
Well, show us a little bit of that one too, because you said some really good things in that
Okay.
one. I know that people watching this would love
So
to learn about that. And folks, you want to follow what Starr is writing here. She is a brilliant author. She does a lot, and as you read her material, I know you'll be able to get a lot of good gems of writing for the work you do, not only on Steemit, if you choose to do that, but also in other work that you're doing in your work as a professional speaker and writing and those types of things. I love here, yeah, keep a notebook of ideas, go for a walk. These are really good. Tell us a little bit about those.
okay, so I used to think that ideas, as a fiction writer, I used to think that ideas were really precious, rare gems that I had to like hold on to, and then as I kept writing, and it wasn't enough to have just these precious gems of ideas. I had to have more ideas if I was going to be writing every day, and especially with fiction, well, nonfiction too. But you can't just have a few ideas. You have to have tons. So I started thinking about it differently and deciding that just being a constant idea generator was the way to go. So I have a few techniques that I like to use to get those ideas flowing. Have a notebook, go for a walk that knocks all those, latent ideas loose in your subconscious mind. Draw a mind map. There's a link there if you're not familiar with that. Journaling, read a book. I get some of my best ideas from reading books, and driving, which is a meditative practice for me. Not for everybody. Some people it stresses them out, but for me it helps. Meditation, using writing prompts, and always keeping a playful mind. So definitely check that article out, especially if you're going to be creating content on Steemit or anywhere else.
Yep, sounds like great ideas. Well, I think it's good. Well, here's something I'd like to do now. If you don't mind, stop sharing your screen. And I want to talk about some of the people that we've seen on Steemit that are doing a lot of things right and teaching all of us. And then Starr, get your astute observations on that as we go through. I'm going to share my screen here. And there we go. Bounce over here. And what I can do is I'm going to go over here to look at go back home, and I can see what's happening. Here we can see some of this and look at some of the trending. It might be real good. We can see some of the trending titles that are out there. And notice what people are doing here. Here's a person called Steamboater. Already has made, they did this yesterday, they've made $612.74 already. The value of Steam and its users. This was done by someone called K. Nurkey. Notice they all have kind of funny names on here. I thought that was kind of interesting too. $453.47 in 18 hours, actually. And here's another one, $316. I think what you can do, here's another one, kind of nice here, $779.41 made, putting in starting 3 days ago by Donkey Pong. Whoever that is. Here's King's Crown. You'll notice that people have many different kinds of them. Here's one particular that I want to draw attention to. Travel with Me, number 80. This is from a person who calls herself Sweet SSSJ. And her posts that she has have done very well. Notice, for instance, here she has 8,521 followers, and she's following 277. She has 9,091 posts. Think about it. Steemit has only been up for less than a year. That means she's cranking out a lot of content. But it's not just content she puts out. Notice this one here, $498, $740, $147, $640. I'm picking out a few of these just here at random. And $907.93. Think about it. These are coming out almost every day. She's doing something with it. And she's talking about traveling. She's talking about something. Here, I'll pick one at random here. This was a $799. It came out 14 days ago. I'll click on this, giving us an example of how to do it. Notice the pictures she puts in there. She puts in pictures that really are good. Her writing is clean, crisp. She does very well with it. I think she has a master's in English. I'm pretty sure she does. And so she speaks fluent Chinese and fluent English. She is Chinese. And she travels around the world giving good information. Notice what's here. A lot of pictures that are really vivid and rich. A lot of good text, and she's talking about Bahamas. Gina, you and I spoke at this property, I think, just a little while ago. And so we can see what's there. This is an example. What you want to do is you want to put it in there real well. And by the way, I'm going to stop here for a moment. I want you to notice what this is. This is not a still picture. It is a GIF, spelled GIF, and it is moving around. She's got this playing here automatically on the screen. It grabs more attention. People see that, and then they respond and give her upvotes. That's how the money comes in. Matter of fact, I'm going to slide down through this. Here we are. Yeah, there's a lot of content there. By the way, notice some of it's in Chinese, so she picks up extra votes and extra people around the world. She has 1,442 votes on this. People have said upvote it. They want to do it. And then we see here's the number, $799.94 so far on this over the last 14 days. So this is an example of how to do it right and what you can do when you're working with this. Starr, you have worked with the community and you've seen a lot of people that are doing that based on what you've seen. By the way, do you know her, the sweet SSSJ, that lady?
I don't know her, but I do know that she has been plugging away on Steemit for a long time, and only in the past few months that she's actually started to see that kind of success. So
yes, that's a very good point.
She started at the bottom, just like, there are people on the platform who buy, who kind of buy in and set themselves up with a very, weighty upvote to begin with and are able to make money because they invested heavily into it. But she did not do that. SSSJ started at the bottom, just like I did, and just like most people do. And just through sheer hard work and really content, she has risen through the ranks so that now I think she's in the top 10 posts almost every day.
Yes, exactly. So I love the way you say that, Starr. It's a matter of work, and you diligently do that. I have learned from others that know her. Matter of fact, when I was over in Greece, it was a Steemit meetup, and people were talking about what she does, and those that know her saying she works on this many hours each day. She might put in 5 or 6 hours getting the pictures, editing them, making sure they look good, working on her text, languaging it, and working with it. So like anything, it takes work. But I think those of you that are watching would enjoy the ability to get, say $500, $1,000. Sometimes she'll get $2,000 in a day, and that could be worth 5 or 6,000 or 5 or 6 hours a day initially getting it there until you get it down. At least I think so. Starr, what do you think?
I agree. Yep.
If I might add, just as somebody who's very new to this and learning from you guys, it appears to me logically, since there are now more people on the platform, that although the money's going to be more distributed, that with more people coming, that there's going to be more money and more opportunity for upvotes. So the quality can really stand out. And then next week, you guys, we're going to do an orientation about social media partners. And I'm going to tell you how to specifically take your Steam posts and work them into your social media partners activities. And we'll be restructuring some of the activities as well to be more geared towards Steemit so that you can get more likes from each other. And so, yeah, if you guys can be sure to, you mentioned earlier that people can promote their own posts, I think, and that there's a way to sort of boost it by adding more money to it. I know we don't want to get into a lot of details right now, but could you just make sure that we sort of understand that as we get started?
Okay, I think the first thing that you need to understand is that Steemit is when you see those dollar amounts at the bottom of your post, that's not actually US dollars. It is a cryptocurrency called Steem, part of which is pegged to the US dollar. It's very complex. I'm not going into all the details, but if you're familiar with cryptocurrencies at all, you know that they're pretty much the next big thing in tech and just in money, in the way that we use money. Terry and I are both in
like Bitcoin as well as many others, Dash and Steemit being one of those. Is that correct?
Right. So I will show you my wallet here. Everybody on Steemit has a wallet.
This is pretty interesting because you can actually show us your wallet. I mean, how many people will show you their wallet? But it is the actual
And
wallet. That's what it says. And there it is on the screen.
everyone's wallet is public on the blockchain. That's another good vocabulary word for you guys, blockchain. So right now I have 2,044 Steem in the Steem Power segment of my wallet. This is the part of your wallet that allows you to upvote your posts and other posts, and that helps you receive a payout on that. So the higher your Steem Power is, the more your up worth. My upvote right now is worth 30 cents. When you first start out on Steemit, your upvote will be worth 0 cents. There are people called whales on Steemit. They're called whales. Whose upvotes can be worth like hundreds of dollars, but usually they dilute their upvote and vote at like 20% or 10% so that when they upvote people's posts, it's not giving them hundreds of dollars all in one vote. It's only giving them a couple dollars or $10 or whatever.
Yeah, very good point. Going to be a difference in there. And one of the things that I found is that whales are out there. They want to see good quality content. And so when they see something that's good quality content, they make it a point as someone who's kind of overseeing what's going on Steemit that they can add a little bit more and give some extra juice. I've had whales come into my post and they go, wow, this is a great one. You need to get a little bit extra. Let me give you some extra. And they would do that because they like it. So and I think that's a good thing. Thank you for mentioning that, Starr.
Problem. So down here you'll see we have Steem dollars. That's the cryptocurrency on Steemit that's pegged to the US dollar. It fluctuates a little bit, but it tries to stay around $1 per coin per unit. When you post on Steemit, you can choose to have your payout go 100% into your Steem Power wallet, or you can have it go 50% into Steem Power and 50% into Steem dollars. So those $500 posts that Sweet SSJ was making, first of all, her curators get part of that. So that's going to cut about a quarter of it off. And then presumably she's using the 50-50 payout split. So 50% of it's going to go into her Steem Power and 50% is going to go into Steem dollars. Steem dollars you can cash out right away. You can take them to a cryptocurrency exchange them for Bitcoin, and then go to somewhere like Coinbase and exchange that for US dollars or whatever your national currency is. But Steem Power, you can't do that. It's kind of like a retirement account. You can withdraw from your Steem Power wallet, but you can only get a small percentage of it at a time, and ends out over a period of 13 weeks. I look at it as a retirement.
Yeah, retirement is a good way to view that. I've looked at it often. It's like if you take dividends that you would get from a stock and you pour it back into buying more stock, what you're doing is you're reinvesting in and saying, I really affirm and believe in this company or this stock. And that's what Steemit is like. When you put it into Steem Power, you're getting more power to help others. But you're saying long term, I want to see this grow. And that gives you more money later on down the road rather than money right now up front.
Yeah, and the other thing to remember is that cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Lash, like Ether, and like Steem also fluctuate in value. So if you really want to, do the best you can, most money you can off of Steemit, a good idea is to not cash out your Steem Power wallet until the price of Steem is really high. So like recently it was up to $2 a coin. So every one of these 2,044 Steem would have been worth $2. So that would have made this worth $4,088.
Yes, and the nice thing about that is a few months ago when you and I started, it was down just a few pennies. I think it was like 3 or 4 or 5 cents. Think about that. You suppose you had invested a lot, and people can do this. Where does the money come from? Well, some people put actual currency into it to buy stock, if you will. They're getting Steem Power. They're getting a stake in Steemit by putting that in there. And if you buy it at 3 cents and it goes up to $2 or more, that's a real good return. When I went to school over at business school, they called that doing very well. So you want to kind of hang on to that idea.
It's better than a 401k,
There
I
you
think.
go.
Down here at the bottom, it shows you your estimated account value. That's the cumulative value of your savings, which is another thing, your Steam dollars, your Steam power, and your Steam. And it roughly, pretty closely tells you how much it's worth in US dollars, according to what these cryptocurrencies are trading on the market at right now. So
Very
that's
good.
a good thing. Always go there and look and see. I'm worth $2,400 on Steemit today. So that's
Kind of a nice thing to keep
I'm
track of. Well, Starr, I'm noticing some comments and questions that are coming through. People want to find out how they can get in touch with you on Steemit. Tell us about that and show us how would we find out about Leslie Starr O'Hara. We can see your name there, and of course you go by Starr. How would they find you on Steemit and also other ways?
Okay, so up here you see my Steemit username is Leslie Starr O'Hara with an at symbol in front of it. If you go on Steemit and you search at Leslie Starr O'Hara, that's Star with 2 R's, you will find me. And then you can, let me scoot this over here. Oh wait, I can't show you on my page, but what I will do is I'll go to people I'm following, and I'll go find here's my friend Mark Whittam.
And
I
how did you
like
get to
this
that
guy.
screen there where you put it, people you're following? Where did you click to get there?
From your profile page, right at the top, it shows your name. If this was okay, you can do it on here too. This is my friend Mark Whittam. It shows his name, his little profile avatar there, and you get a little blurb right underneath it, and then underneath that it says how many followers you have, how many posts you've done, and how many people you are following. So you can click on this for anybody, your own profile or somebody else's profile, and find out who's following them, that's followers, and who they're following. And then it brings you to this other page. What I was going to show you right here is how you can follow somebody. Up here at the top right-hand corner of somebody's profile, you'll see a follow button. I've already followed Mark, so then it'll allow you to unfollow, which I'm not going to do because I really like Mark's content. And then you can mute if you like. I don't know, that seems kind of weird, but if you want to keep following somebody but you don't want to see their posts, basically you could mute them.
Okay. So go over that again. If somebody says, okay, I'm just starting with Steam, I know nothing about it. Where do we go to find you? So how would you tell us real detailed how they would type that in?
You go up here to the search thing, the little magnifying glass,
Mm-hmm.
and in here you can type in at Leslie Starr O'Hara, and there we go. First result, it takes you right to my profile page.
There we go. Wonderful. So type that in. That's a good way for them to find. Then if they want to send you a note, and say, hey, you did a great job. We want to stay in touch with you, etc. How would they do that?
Well, I will tell you that Steemit doesn't yet have an internal messaging system.
That's
It is
right.
still in beta. You can see right here, Steemit beta. There's still some functionalities that they're working on that they haven't fully rolled out yet. So internal messaging is one of those. You can message me. You can send me an email at lesliestarrohara@gmail.com. And that is just spelled the exact same way as this up here at gmail.com.
There we go. And for those who will be listening to this on audio, please spell that out very slowly so they'll know how, because Leslie can be spelled several different ways, and Starr, as you know, can be spelled different ways too.
Yes. Okay. So it's LESLIESTARROHARA@gmail.com.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. Well, this is really good information, and I think we're getting a lot of value here and a lot more we can do. Matter of fact, if you don't mind, go ahead and stop sharing your screen now. And let's come back. We'd love to go for about 3 more hours on this, but we wanted to try to keep it there within 30 minutes or so. Gina, any comments, questions,
Yes.
observations you have before we conclude?
Yes, thank you. Let me jump in with a couple of quick questions here. A lot of people will be starting their counts for the first time. I noticed that both of you, as well as I, have used our actual real names as our Steemit handles. I noticed that a lot of other people use quite fake, crazy kind of names. Which do you, for each of you guys who've been on it more than me, which do you recommend? Use our real name or use a name that's more maybe indicative of what we do?
Starr?
I think you could go either way on this platform, honestly. At the top of the profile page, you might have noticed that not only does it say my username at Leslie Starr O'Hara, but it also allows me to put in my name, the name that I choose, which is also Leslie Starr O'Hara, but you could use a different name. So if you want to put you know, best content creator as your handle, that's fine. And then on the top of the profile page, you can put your actual name. A lot of people are using fake names and they do just fine on this platform. So I think if it's an issue of branding for you, then go ahead and use your real name or your company name. But I think it's going to be an individual preference thing.
Okay,
Yeah, I
Terry,
would
how about
agree.
you?
Yeah, I would
You'd
agree with
agree?
Starr. I think you can do either. I have chosen to use Terry Brock, just my first and last name together as one word, and you put the @ sign in front of that. So @ Terry Brock, because that's been my brand. And I've had my website, terrybrock.com. I'm @ Terry Brock on Twitter, etc. And in most places I am, although there are some exceptions like on Facebook and LinkedIn, I use marketer Terry Brock only because, hey, some other guys named Terry Brock got in there and beat me to the punch. So that's the way it works sometimes. But I think that's, you raise a good point. It's something you want to be aware of. I found it interesting, Gina, when I was over at the Steam Fest, which was a big gathering just a few months ago in Amsterdam, talking about Steam and what it is. People were referring to each other in real life with their pseudonym, or like, hey, Cracker 37, what do you think about that? Or, hey, Boogie Boogie, best creator 39, or whatever they would say. What do you think? I thought, don't they have a real name? Who is this person? But it's just the culture, and that's the way they do it.
Yeah, speaking of the culture, these new platforms. It's much like going into a new country with a new language. You've got to learn the lingo, and I know that much of what we've said today, many of you are like, "What the heck are they even talking about?" They lost me at Bitcoin, so it's probably pretty confusing. I will encourage you to start following Terry Brock on his Facebook and on his blog. I'm going to put that link up above because he is increasingly talking about these cryptocurrencies and Steemit and that sort of thing. Certainly follow Starr. You can learn from her. I put their handles and links to some of their articles in the comments below this video, so you can grab those. But speaking of, what's proper for a different network, like in Facebook, you can supposed to only have one personal account. Twitter, you can have multiple accounts. Is it proper in Steemit to have more than one account?
You
Starr, do you know?
can. Yeah, you can. Jeff Berwick has 2 now. He's again a friend of all of ours, but also he's almost always in the top 10 every day, at least one time.
Yeah.
He has 2 accounts now, and there are other people that have like one account for content creation and one account for curation. So it is possible, right? But I do want to throw out there that right now there is a short waiting period to get a Steemit account. I think it's like 24 to 48 hours. So
Okay, very good point. All right, great. Okay, Sandra Samuel, thank you for watching and for your questions. I see there are a lot of people out there. She says, what topics seem to get the most steam?
can I take that one?
Yeah, go for it, Starr.
This might not be very exciting to everybody, but usually the ones in the top 10 or the top 3 every day are articles about Steemit or about the technology behind the platform or the performance of the cryptocurrency. or new apps that are added to, the blockchain platform. So developers and people like that are getting the most, those are the highest almost every day. Then beneath that, there's going to be travel is really big, especially if you have great photos like sweet SSSJ and good text. Travel posts are getting a lot of attention. Humor actually is not far behind. And then there are regular like self-improvement posts and how, helping new Steemians posts, like how to create good content and how to present yourself on Steemit and things like that. I would say those are all in the top. And cryptocurrency investment in general.
Yep.
Okay,
Exactly.
and it's evolving. I'm sorry, go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, I would just say I would agree because those are the trends and the topics that people tend to be very interested in. I've been doing a lot more on the entrepreneurial side in business, and we're seeing a little bit of pickup in that, but it's much more oriented toward the techie side. Yet travel is important. And for those of you that are in the social media partners group, you travel, you're speakers, you're bouncing on airplanes all over the place. So start thinking about taking pictures there, and you can comment. So if you're in a city, just say, look, this is what Boston looks like today. Hey, I was in San Francisco yesterday. Here's what it looks like. For us, it's old hat. I mean, we just bounce around the country so much, it's no big deal. But for many people, it is. So doing the travelings and documenting that with your camera and with text can be real good. Starr, thank you very much for sharing that.
I also wanted to point out to clarify that those are just the general trends that I see. I have seen posts that are totally not in any of those categories that do very well. So, recipes sometimes get up there in the top 20 or so, and fiction and even poetry, photography, not limited to travel photography, but just photography in general.
And thank you very much for allowing me and Starr to be on board. Gina, any concluding comments that you have to say?
Oh boy, you guys have just been fantastic. I know this is just so much information. We're getting some great comments from the people saying thank you for sharing this. And they've just gotten a taste, and it's like a taste of something brand new that they've never tried before, never even thought about before. So it's really some great information. Some people are still sticking around. I think I'm going to share my screen quickly and just show you guys real quickly how you could